What's up, Destiny 2 fans? Renegades has been out for a couple of weeks, and Equilibrium has been out for a little bit over a week. I'm going to be starting a new series where I reveal the god rolls for all of these weapons, and I also give them a rank. We're going to go by activity type, so to start, we are going to do Equilibrium. Let's get started. First, I want to talk about the Conspiracy-honed Dynamic Heat Weapon Sniper Rifle. It has a god roll with Fluted Barrel, Overclocked Heatsink, Vorpal Weapon, and Bait and Switch. This thing has barely any kick, so it really works well in PvE. Based off of the recoil being so low in general, I want to go ahead and give this weapon an A on my list. Next up is going to be the Voltaic Shade Scout Rifle. The god roll that I think that this weapon has is going to be the Fluted Barrel with the Overclocked Heatsink in the second column, and then we're going to have Jolting Feedback in column 3, and then Magniura in that fourth column. However, if you have an arc build, I definitely would say to get Volt Shot instead in that fourth column. And then, of course, if you have Triple Charge, you can also swap that out for Jolting Feedback as well. However, the original one, that's the god roll in my opinion, especially if you have a Cooling Efficiency Masterwork. Overall, for this weapon, I'm going to give it a B+. Next up, we have one of my favorite weapons from the dungeon, the High Tyrant Pulse Rifle, and you know I am a sucker for void weapons. The roll that we're going to want here for the barrel is a Fluted Barrel, and then of course for the magazine we want the Light Heatsink, and then in the next two columns we're going to want Destabilizing Rounds and Demoralize. For the Masterwork, however, we do want the Cooling Efficiency. I don't have the right barrel or magazine or Masterwork for mine, but this thing still stomps. This weapon is only slightly disappointing in the fact that it has Destabilizing Rounds and Repulsor Brace in the same column. However, switching this over to Repulsor Brace and Magniura does a little bit of the same thing, and that is also a very fun roll to have as well. So while it is disappointing to have Repulsor Brace and Destabilizing Rounds in the same column, I would still give this a weapon an A. There are just some better void weapons out there for PvE that make this thing not a S tier weapon. Now onto one of the most popular weapons in Equilibrium, the Zealous Ideal Auto Rifle. It is amazing. For the magazine, you want Overclocked Heatsink, and then for the barrel, you are going to want Fluted Barrel. And then, of course, for the Masterwork, Cooling Efficiency is going to be the best. For the third and fourth columns of this weapon, you actually have a lot of choices. However, the top one that I would go for is Heal Clip and Incandescent. Heal Clip is really amazing with this weapon because the heal from Heal Clip actually starts immediately at the reload rather than at the end. However, this weapon also comes with Attrition Orbs and Onslaught, and that pairing is going to be really awesome for those non-solar users. And then maybe not a god roll pairing, but something that also works really well is Heal Clip with Burning Ambition. This is your classic solar weapon. It is really awesome. And one thing I want to mention is that thermal automation is really good